Welcome guys to my video and welcome to 2019 season. Boy, what a headache this game was early. A lot of penalties, a lot of turnovers, and it looked like the first preseason game, to be honest. But if you look around the league, that's kind of how everyone looked, aside from Ravens and the Patriots. But anyways, the Niners had zero offense in the first half. I mean, they did score points, but it was 2 field goals. But the defense was rolling all game, which kept us in this thing. Here are my takeaways. Here's what I saw. Let's discuss. We got to start with the positives. And why not start with that defense who looks like a completely different squad from last year? I mean, this is a playoff style defense like we had in the Harbaugh era. Love Kwon, regardless of the stupid penalty, which, by the way, want to talk about crazy rules? That ejection was ridiculous. Kwon did not deserve to get kicked out of that game. But anyways, Nick Bosa, who I had as a player to watch, looks like a pretty damn good player. He looks like he's going to get a lot of sacks this year. And you line him up next to D Ford and we have something cooking. But this entire defensive line was bringing in, not just those two. Tampa and Winston had no answer for that pass rush, and it caused 2 pick sixes. Should have been more interceptions, but you can see the pressure was getting to Winston. And though people would say the sacks weren't there, it doesn't matter. Like, pressure in this league can be almost as good as a sack. We'll take those pick sixes as opposed to a sack, right? So you just gotta appreciate the improvement in that department. But the dude that really impressed me though, and he showed up and balled out, was Ahkello Witherspoon. He looks like a completely different player out there, and it could be the good pass rush, right? Ahkello may be a guy who's taking advantage of a good pass rush and a very mediocre quarterback. But in week 1, Ahkello looked like a Pro Bowler. I mean, he had a pick 6. He didn't give up a lot of yards. I mean, he was what you want at cornerback. I mean, seriously though, Witherspoon took a step forward, and I honestly did not see this from him, but he did. He stepped up and he definitely helped this defense. It was also nice to see Richard Sherman get not only a pick, but he took it to the house. The entire defense looked like a top 5 defense to me. You know your defense is good when they're scoring points for you, and that's basically what they did. They won us this game. I mean, all in all, we finally have dudes on this team. On the offensive side of the ball, the guy who stood out is obviously George Kittle. I mean, George Kittle is a Pro Bowler, and he just continues to show his skill set. He's a possession receiver. At one point, I'm just like, throw him the ball every time. Let's get this first down. But he is so valuable to this football team. I mean, if it wasn't for him, this offense wouldn't even sniff 100 yards. Like, that's how important he is to this team. Another rookie who is showing promise is my guy Deebo Samuel. Had a fumble, had a couple of penalties, which kind of killed the drives, but he's showing what Pettis hasn't since he's been here. Toughness in the middle of the football field. Did you guys see that slant to pick up the first down on like 3rd and long, and Jimmy looked his way, threw it, he caught it, got a couple yards after the catch, and then went down for that first down. I mean, that's Kyle Shanahan's offense. That's what it is. You need to make those catches. For the short time that was Pierre Garçon's role, it's very nice to see a rookie make those plays. So good job, Deebo Samuel. Trust me on this. Dude is going to ball out this year. Keep an eye on my guy. He's going to show some nice flashes, and I just need Jimmy to look his way more often. I feel like there were missed opportunities where Jimmy was not looking his way. Could have had some good yardage. Even with this win, there were some bad things, and I want to touch on that a little bit. But, it's always good to celebrate that W. But let me briefly go over what I saw that really irritated me. And if you follow me on Twitter, kind of already know. But let's start with the quarterback. Look, I've said Russ is going to play a factor and he's going to have tough games. But the thing that always gets me is giving points to your opponent, which can't happen, especially in the road. That's what happened. And, we saw it in preseason and we're seeing it again here. Jimmy can't make that throw. As rusty as you can be, I expect him to be inaccurate at times, which has been a theme here. But he's making those same plays, and it's giving not only the opponent a spark, but you're giving them points, and that could be deflating. If we were facing any other team, that could have been it. That pick 6 probably would have been the last time we were close in that game. But we played Tampa. We were able to come back. We were able to overcome those mistakes. But I'm going to need my boy Jimmy to do a better job at seeing the field. That's all it is. And speaking of some of the inaccuracies, I mean, some of these plays are layups, and I know he can make these plays because he's made them in the 2017 season and early in the 2018 season. And I know he can do it, but right now he's not doing it. And it's going to take some time, but, he has to be in the bag because he really didn't help this team. I felt like he was hurting them more than anything, and Kyle just went, you know what, we're just going to be conservative with our play calling. Throw a lot of screens to Kittle, run the ball, which wasn't the most productive. So that's all I'll say about that. Now, another guy I want to talk about is Dante Pettis, who I felt like he would get more burn in this game, but that wasn't the case. He did have a catch, did have a couple snaps, but it's not looking really good for Dante Pettis because you still have Trent Taylor and Jalen Hurd, who will be back from injury, and where do you put him? Where do you put him after that? I feel like Dante Pettis could really help this team, and especially yesterday. Overall, I'm just disappointed. Receivers in general didn't play well, though. I feel like it has a lot to do with Jimmy Garoppolo, but we're going to need more productivity from our receivers, and I think Kyle will eventually get Pettis the ball more in his hands to make him a playmaker, as well as get Marquise Goodwin going. I think when Trent Taylor comes back, Jalen Hurd, Jimmy will have more weapons, but he needs to build some sort of chemistry with one of the guys he currently has, with someone outside of Trent Taylor. So we'll see. Another thing I want to touch on was the running game. Running backs didn't have much room or wiggle room to run in, and I think it had to do with two things. Tampa's defense, it's really good. They have a good defensive front. It will certainly be difficult to run the football. But another thing was the offensive line. They weren't making any holes for the running backs to even run the ball. So Breida couldn't get going. I mean, there was like a drive where we were running the football really well, and then we started doing the play actions, but then Jimmy started throwing inaccurately. So, you need one to complement the other. So there's a lot of cleanup on offense, but like I said, it's just week one. There's going to be rust. So just be patient with that. One thing we really need to clean up by next week, penalties. And I put that on Kyle a little bit because penalties kind of reflects the head coach. He has to do a better job at teaching the rooks and also line his guys up on offense. We got penalized for those two things. Receivers need to know how to run the pick route too. We got penalized for that and a few holding calls. I just feel like those sloppy plays, especially on offense, reflect the head coach. That's his department. That's what he works on. So I'm going to need him and this entire team to improve by next week. Too many penalties. But the last thing I want to touch on was the short yardage situation. It's become so predictable. Whenever we get 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, it's almost like they run the same running plays every time. And the defenses just jump it. Like, if I'm seeing that as a trend, as an average Joe fan, of course the defensive coordinator is going to pick up on that. And that falls on Kyle too. You need a better package on 3rd and short. So you either rely on your quarterback to make a play or find another play than just going a run play in the shotgun formation. It kind of drove me insane. But overall, it's difficult to really win in this league. And to me, a win's a win, regardless how ugly it looked. To do it with all these mistakes and still come out with a victory is a step in the right direction. This lets you know we are a deep team and we'll have some upsets this year and we'll have some losses that we should have won. Let's be real. But this is an overall learning experience for the offense, for the head coach, for these guys. They're all still young. And I hope they come out better in week 2 and hopefully with another victory. But anyways, guys, I'm done talking. Let me get your thoughts on the 49ers week 1 performance against the Bucks. Who deserved the game ball, in your opinion? Drop a comment below. Also, here are my comments left in my previous video. I thank y'all for watching. And as always, we'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace. I just woke up. That's why I sound like this. But I'm doing this for you guys. I'm doing this video early in the morning for you guys. All right. Peace out.